Hi, and welcome to Matt Holman Talks Mental Health, the podcast where I have the opportunity to sit down and have conversations with amazing humans about their journeys and their stories. For this episode, I'm so happy to introduce Mark Dolby to the conversation. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Matt. Hiya. Good morning.
Hiya, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world as well.
Yeah.
But no, it's lovely to have you, Mark. As always, I do a very brief introduction as to how this podcast episode came about. I'll let you do a proper introduction to yourself, let people know all about you. Mark and I have known each other for a little while. We have a common interest. I won't share too much up front because I let Mark do the talking around the common interest. But I think Mark's known my brother longer than he's known me. Well, he definitely has known my brother longer than
Yeah.
he's known me for many, many years, going back into their banking days, I believe. Um,
Hmm.
and then we got connected through sort of mutual contacts. So we both live in Basingstoke, which is great, but we're also, recognize that we work all over the place. So this is just nice to sit down and have a conversation. Mark, welcome to this conversation. Tell people a little bit more about you. Maybe, unveil the reality of how we know each other and our common interests.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Mark Dolby, father of four beautiful girls, married to Lorraine, my wonderful wife, and I'm a director at Finley Thames Valley financial planning business we've been running for 15 years. So, yeah, that's kind of me. Our shared love is clearly running, which I'm sure we'll come on to later. But yeah, absolutely, running is where it's at.
I think it's going to create quite a lot of the conversations as well.
Yeah,
Because Mark,
yeah,
for everybody that's listening already, please do stay listening because Mark has some incredible stories about running adventures. I can only talk about things like half marathons and a couple of marathons. Mark can talk a little bit more about things that are a little bit more extreme than that. But so please do stay listening because I think this is going to be an incredible story. However, the most important thing to this story is you and what you're all about. So I always ask the guests, please just tell us a bit of a journey, Mark. Tell us a little bit about your story and sort of the reasons why you do what you do and how you do it.
yeah. That's a big question. I haven't written anything down. I'm not prepared at all, so we're just going to go with it. So that's the idea. I was born in Reading. We moved around a bit with my dad's work to places like Weymouth, which was amazing. I think Queen's Jubilee was down there with trestle tables and a lovely sunny day and paddling pools in the garden.
Well,
Then on to Portsmouth, where I lived till I was about 15. Grew up down there. Mainly went to school with my little sister, who's a nurse down there still and is amazing. And then we moved to Basingstoke, yeah, when I was about 15. So I've been here now, which I can't believe I'm going to say almost 40 years. That's incredible now saying that out loud. So yeah, 40 years in Basingstoke. Um, had no idea what I wanted to be. Was quite a, how do I word this, late developer in terms of as a kid. Quite small, didn't really start mature until about 18. So I was sort of definitely left behind a little bit in terms of size and so on as well. But I guess I tried to make up for that when I started to grow up a little bit along the way. But no idea what I wanted to do in my life. Ended up working in a bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, just because it was a new building in town and I saw an advert in the Gazette.
okay.
And then from there on in, just kind of did everything along the way. Liked working with people, liked talking to people, understanding their story, and you just learn, bits about people. You take away every conversation, like you take something from them. That's the best bit of the job I found. Not filling a cash machine or I don't know, writing out loads of forms. That wasn't my strength and probably still isn't. So I guess I naturally, now again, I've just said it out loud. I sort of naturally fell into sort of financial planning, financial advice because that's the job. Where are you? Where do you want to get to?
Yeah.
How can I help you get there? Do you know do you know things are okay or they're not really? So that's by far the best bit of what I enjoy doing. It can be tiring because obviously you're giving yourself a lot to people and you want to do your best you can for everyone. But yeah, I guess that's kind of how it happened along the way, really. That's sort of professional life anyway. Um, four daughters, four wonderful daughters. Been married. I've been married twice. My elder girls live down in Kent, and are yeah, just they're very special to me. We see them. Well, we used to see a lot of each other certainly growing up. Lily, my eldest, has just become a an English teacher at Canterbury, which is incredible to say out loud. Certainly, I didn't go to university. Um, Sort of Lily's mum was not sort of from that sort of educational background as well, so she's gone and smashed it. And
Brilliant.
yeah, incredible. My daughter Poppy, again, she's very much trying to work out where she wants to be and what she's doing, and she'll get there. She's bright and clever and shines like a star. Just needs to work out where she wants to be, really. So So they're amazing. And then I've got Suki and Cleo with me at home every day. Just so proud of them. Yeah, and my wife Lorraine, who's stuck with me for ups and downs and highs and lows and all that stuff you sign up for, but hope you don't have to go through. So she's kind of my rock really. But yeah, the girls and Lorraine is family is everything to me really. Is the long and short of it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and yeah, this is the big part of the story for you, isn't it? Around family and the
Mm,
importance of family to you, and
yeah.
sort of those experiences. Can you talk a little bit more about sort of your personal journey with that and some of the things you've been doing?
Yeah, so I suppose the biggest impact in my life has been losing both of my parents, really. Big year this year. So it's 10 years since we lost my dad. I was trying to do the maths this morning. He was 69 when he went. Um, dad was, my dad was my hero. My dad had his faults without any shadow of a doubt, but he would have, and regularly told me to lay down in front of a train for me or, whatever it was. There was no, it's not I couldn't do any wrong, but he was my, my biggest cheerleader to a certain degree. So yeah, he's a massive miss. You know yourself, you sort of speak to your parents without saying anything, or you spend time with them without saying anything. You just have that I don't know, as a comfort blanket, call it what you will, but that I could just go there on a Tuesday night, have sausage and mash and not talk, just watch the football, and you just came back feeling great. You know what I mean? It's was one of those really. So that was a big impact. Dad died of cancer in the hospice. Sadly, 10 years before that, Mum also died in the hospice in the same room, again of cancer. She'd been fighting cancer for 10 years. She died at 58, which is just ridiculous, really. Um, I suppose you're aware of your own sort of age all of a sudden. I'm 54, 4 years on, and Mum wasn't here, so she didn't see Suki, Cleo, my niece Millie. I only just got to see Joseph, my nephew. So and Poppy, my 20-year-old was actually born 11 days after Mum died. Um, so my God, that was a hell of a time really, and still, yeah, you sort of get over it and then don't, it's not the years that come into play. It's just certain events, or I don't know, just be the weather. Like saw a couple of robins in the garden this morning. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous, but little bits like that just they resonate, don't they? So
yeah,
yeah, losing them has been it's been a massive. I mean, my mum didn't meet my wife Lorraine. They'd have got on like a house on fire.
yeah.
So there's lots of things that you just wish they could have been around a bit more to see. But they're the biggest thing for me, really. Yeah, that's the biggest impact of my life.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that, Mark. I really appreciate that as well. And I knew, that I knew that you'd lost both of your parents, and it's,
Yeah.
it's those moments, isn't it, where you reflect and those events and those relationships.
Mm.
And there's been motivation though from this, hasn't there? And I think
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to sort of lean this story or drive the story
Yeah.
towards it is the things that you did next, because you didn't just sort of just go, right, that's it. There's no, you wanted a legacy there, didn't you?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you've done that, and so let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the legacy. Where was your motivation for that? What changed, and what was your thoughts? So you mentioned the hospice, and no doubt that's
Mm.
that journey too. So
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing place. Truly is amazing. I was lucky enough to be a trustee there for a couple of years as well. If I'm being completely honest, I found that quite hard to be on the other side because it's
yeah,
such an emotional place to me. I found it quite difficult to be in a boardroom scenario to a certain degree. Probably again not my strength, but I could understand the workings of it, I suppose, which is either good or bad. I'm not sure, but I know it's a massive important place. It needs money on a regular basis, and I wanted to do my bit. Obviously, both parents had died there, so I wanted to do my bit to try and give something back to them, really. And your legacy is a really, really important word that you use. I want my girls to be as proud as me as I'm as my parents. That really matters to me.
yeah,
Um, it's nice to get, adulation's too strong a word, but it's nice to get, kudos, whatever it is from other people. Yeah, it's lovely, but if they don't think I'm the greatest, then I'm not doing my job. So that's the way I look at it, really.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I've done everything. I'll send everyone to sleep. I jumped out of a plane did a skydive the year Mum died, not long afterwards. I don't like heights. I'm not good at that, but I almost didn't. He's one of those. You're so far away, it just didn't really matter. So I did that. Was sick on the way down, which the guy wasn't over the moon about. The tandem skydive wasn't over the moon, so that's a whole different conversation. So that's the bit you don't see on Instagram, I suppose.
Was it
And
video? Did you have it videoed while you were doing it?
I have got a bit. No, not not
No,
video.
no.
Yeah, but certainly on the way down, he wouldn't shake my hand when we landed, so that was interesting.
Oh, right.
So I
Yeah, no,
worked out skydiving.
there.
Literally, skydiving wasn't for me. So yeah, tried cycling. Um, I'm not a great cyclist. Decided that the easiest thing was to stick a pair of trainers on and just go out and run and see what you can do. Really, I'm not the fastest, but I think I'm relatively determined. If I say I'm going to do something, which again I've really signed up for, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I think me and you both know that you think about, there's a million reasons not to do things now. You think about events or even going out with your mates. It feels there's more reason all the time where I can just get out and not doing this. So
Mm.
I think if you're going to commit to something, you've got to say you're going to do it, and you've got to do it.
Yeah.
So that has resulted in two massive things, I suppose. Well, no, more than that. Oh God, this is boring. So the Arc Riders was something that was formed about 10 years ago. There was going to be a cancer centre that was built in Basingstoke. They were trying to raise, from memory, about £5 million to build this state-of-the-art cancer centre. A guy called Merv Rees was behind it. Amazing guy, amazing consultant. He sadly passed away last week at 75, but again of cancer, which is ironic. But so yeah, we got behind this. There's a few guys in Basingstoke, Craig Killick, Gary Livingston, just to name a couple,
Yeah.
who Mark Jones, who were all behind us. I wanted to do cycling. And I kind of fell into that right time. My dad had just died. I thought I could do that. I'll give it a go. They cycled to Land's End. I cycled to France. We cycled to Germany, Bournemouth, Bath, blah, blah, blah. But this kind of community grew. I think there's been about, without overselling it, between 100 and 200 people have done the bike rides, not all together, but over that sort of 10-year period. And they became the guys to sort of, it was the guy Rob Burrows and Kevin Sinfield. When I read his book recently, he was talking about they had a group of people. If you put a light up saying "I need you," they came to certain degrees. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of you don't need 100 people, but if you've got five people that no matter what, no matter where you are, what you're doing, would come and put their arm around you and support you. Those are those guys,
Yeah.
and they were inspirational to me. But I realised cycling wasn't probably my strong point. So
Yeah.
yeah, decided to try and run further, try and do whatever I could, and that resulted in going to Jordan in the Wadi Rum Desert to run across that for 5 days. Um, Brought your own food, carried your own bag, slept in a tent with strangers, dehydrated food, yeah, go to the toilet in a bag, no showers, kind of everything that I think we talked earlier. I mean, everything that I am not, that was.
Yeah.
And it was incredible, absolutely incredible. No phones, no signal. In the middle of a desert. The views were like I think Star Wars may have even been filmed there in
Right.
terms of that kind of barren desert.
Nothing.
Nothing to see forever and ever. Sunrises, sunsets.
Yeah.
And I met some people there who, again, are just off this scale in terms of inspirational. What they do, why they do it. And it sort of rubs off, I suppose. It sort of rubs off in terms of God. If you can do that, then why aren't I doing something? Um, so yeah, I haven't stopped talking, have I? For I don't know however long. Um,
Right. It's
but
your
I mean,
story. Go for it. Your story. You carry
okay,
loving it. I'd love it. I genuinely am.
okay. As long as you're sure.
That's good.
Yeah, we met a guy called Matt from Burnley who sort of slept beside us in his sleeping bag, had every appliance he needed in terms of charging. So he was a very, very useful guy. He became our mate for life. We met a guy called Jack Faint who was diagnosed with a brain tumor at I think 26. Full vegan, really cool guy from Liverpool. Started chanting around a campfire one night, and turns out he's from South Africa. I'd gone to live in South Africa. Went out to see him and did a run with him out there on the back of that. He's just run from the top of India to the bottom of India over 70 odd days, 4,000 kilometers. The only guy ever to do that with a brain tumor, 32 years old. Um, yeah, my mate Nacho, who, he was a client, but actually, really, really dear friend now. We were with him when we were in Jordan with Matt as well. And he kind of he'll just anchor onto him and he'll take you anywhere. He'll get you there. So we've got a really strong bond of people now that I can, yeah, say are my, friends for life, and I don't see that ever changing. So you don't often meet. It doesn't feel like you meet, best friends, close friends,
Yeah.
real connections later on. Maybe I'm talking rubbish. It's often from school and college and university. I didn't, I've still got a couple of them, but not to the degree these guys are.
Yeah.
That I would do anything for them, and I know probably they would do anything for me. So we're really, really lucky.
Yeah, no, that's
So
really,
yeah,
and that's really positive as well. And it's that finding your people, and I think that's something
that's
that
it.
a lot of
That's
people
it.
struggle with, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah.
that, if you don't find the people and there's a commonality in there of what you're doing
Mm,
and the
mm.
activities and yeah, and you've done some incredible events since Jordan as well. And I
Yeah.
the list is a long one and I love it. And I think
Yeah.
it's so important to sort of let people know that, from where you were with those struggles that you obviously were going through with the loss of
Mm,
both parents to where
mm.
you are and what you do. It's
Yeah.
bloody amazing, mate. It really is.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
did a
suppose
big
the big ones, the big one was last year. Was so there was a guy in our road. There's a family in our road. Rob and Debbie. They had three boys, and my wife used to talk to Debbie regularly. She lives opposite my in-laws, and Debbie had cancer for, I believe, between 8 to 10 years. Struggled with it. She was born with the BRCA gene. I think it's called the BRCA gene, which is kind of hereditary. So sadly, she lost her dad to prostate cancer, but he had this gene in his body, stating the obvious, and it got passed down the line to Debbie. The sad thing is we don't know, but potentially that continues down the line as well. So how the boys are affected, we're not sure. They're great. They're all amazing lads, but there's always that kind of cloud over to a certain degree. So anyway, Debbie sadly passed away in the hospice on the 14th of December 2024.
right.
Um, she was incredible. Lorraine was actually with her at the time, my wife, which is something else. But and she was a force of nature. She would do anything for anyone. Even a school council. When you talk to anyone about Debbie, she couldn't do enough for anyone else, even when she was at her ill, her most ill, really. And I was running with Nacho one day, and we started talking and thinking, do you know what? We need to do something for this. We need to work it out. And as most things happen on a run, you start working things through, and he's the man to talk to.
Yeah.
And we thought we would run to Anfield, is what we'd do, because Debbie was originally from Anfield, a mad Liverpool fan. Um, then all these things started to come into play. We wanted to talk to Rob. Obviously, we wouldn't do anything without him being on board, and Rob was definitely on board straight away. He wanted to get involved in it clearly, which was amazing. Matt, the guy from Burnley, was like, "Well, where do you need me?" sort of thing. I'll be there,
Yeah.
and it sort of built from there. Nacho did the routes, the whole logistics. We started from the hospice. Um, it turned out, so yeah, so the last game Debbie had seen of football, I think, was the 14th of December. I
Right.
think the following year, we got to Liverpool on the 14th of December last year. I
Yeah.
think the last game she saw was Burnley, where Matt was from. I could give you about 20 things. It was all like, we have
Yeah.
to do
It
this and we
had to
have to
be
do it
that
this year.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
got to Liverpool on the 14th of December. We ran about 190 miles over 7 days, all self-supported. We're really, really lucky. The guys from Harlequin, Paul and Richard gave us a van all branded.
Wow.
Kevin Crooms is an amazing guy, another one of the Arc Riders. He drove it, supported us, got us vegan sausage rolls and traditional sausage rolls whenever we needed them. Mark Jones came in and did his bit. So all these people all of a sudden rallied round us. People, I think there are about, I don't know, comfortably 50 people saw us off from the hospice, and we raised about £50,000. People just joined us on the way.
Incredible.
So Jack was there at the end, or towards the end. Jack came and joined us. The guy I mentioned earlier on, Anna O'Shea joined us. Ashley Hole. All these people came along the way. It's just they really really buoyed us up. So but it was really tough from a sort of mental perspective. I think we probably said we'd do it in the June, and then we were running in December, trying to raise money, raise awareness, tell a story. I couldn't be a social media star because oh my God, it's hard work. And then trying to balance home, life,
Yeah,
work,
of course.
staying
Yeah.
obvious. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was a big thing, and massively emotional, mentally, as much as physically demanding, I'd suggest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did it, and I'm really proud. And we got to Liverpool, and they celebrated us there in the program and blah blah blah. So yeah, we've done our bit. So and that was for Victoria's Promise, who I'm a trustee of, and a hospice. So they
Yeah.
both benefited, significantly from that. So that's definitely something I'm very proud of.
And you should be, and for all of you, and for all the names that you've put out there who got involved in the activity and the event and the organizing and the logistics and the vegan sausage rolls,
Yeah,
they're very important people in all of that, and it's
yeah,
amazing, and that's it. And what you're sharing and what I love about your story, Mark, is you're very aware of the support around you,
oh
and
yeah,
you're a wonderful advocate for the support that people give to each other, and you are the best. You are one of the best people I see who's there to support everybody else. But
mm.
after that event, what happens? Where do you go? How do you feel?
Yeah. Not great, not great at all. I found it really hard, and it's almost like that. But you're quite fortunate when you do this stuff to a degree that and it is a privilege. You get to spend that time on your own and you've got a cause, but you haven't really got too many other outside distractions. I mean, Jordan, for example, I'm on my own for a week. I would never have thought to do that, by the way, but God, it
Yeah,
was valuable in terms of a reset to a certain degree. I mean,
yeah,
that's one example. I'm away in Jordan, came back and celebrating, and Lorraine lost her nan while I was away. So
right.
she's trying to be up for me, but she's devastated. And you come back to that, and that was really hard for both of us because obviously we're in very different places there, and I really felt for her, but I couldn't come from where I was. It takes a while to get there, and Liverpool was that magnified by probably 100, 1,000, I don't know. So what next? What's your course of action? What do you want to do? What's it all about? And all of a sudden it's Christmas and you've got the hullabaloo going on and it's all running around, and then you're back at work before you know it, and it's like, wait a minute, I haven't digested this.
Yeah,
I actually could. I keep going back to Jordan, but I think it's relevant. I haven't digested that.
right. Okay.
I haven't processed that in terms of I couldn't tell you much about it, which sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can tell you people I met and, you know, small conversations and, where you slept and stuff, but I couldn't tell you where I was at 10 miles on day 3
right.
because you just got it done as well. You just had to dig in,
Yeah,
put your shoes on and just drag it out. So I think that's the bit that's quite hard to convey sometimes. You're just in the moment and you're not thinking about problems, or you're just thinking, how do I get to that next lamppost?
right. Yeah, interesting.
Um, yeah. So yeah, not great, but I'll
Yeah.
work it out. We'll work it out.
Yeah, but it just, it's about processing it, like you say, and this year you've done activities and you've done events again, haven't you? And
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
do you want to talk a little bit about Madeira and sort of the
Yeah, yeah,
activity?
yeah. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I think I say every time I do something, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Which just go, I guess, like childbirth is like, I'll never do that again and go and do it again. But uh,
Not that we
yeah,
can really say what childbirth is like, Mark.
we can't. But I'm
Just to make
aware
sure.
that, yeah, we were never gonna have another one after Suki and Cleo turned up, so
Right,
that's kind of
okay.
my fault. But
Yeah,
no, I think it's just we wanted to do something about a year on from Liverpool, and we tried to. There's a company called Ultra X. They do some amazing events, and we knew sort of how it worked. So that was the idea, to do something there. The only way we could really find we could all do was Madeira, which was just in end of October, beginning of November.
yep,
But it was 19,000 feet, 110 kilometers over 2 days, sleeping in a tent. Same stuff I talked about before, dehydrated food, the whole works. And I've really struggled all year to get my head around it. It was just too much. It was just too big. I think I mentioned to you earlier. I mean, most events now, whether they're cycling or running, is around about 5,500 feet, which is not to be sniffed at. You think about the Jurassic Coast, Swanage and all down there. We've done that recently, and that's hard, but that's 5,500 feet over a day. Madeira was 10,000 feet over the first day and about 9,000 the following day.
yeah,
And I just couldn't get my head in the game. I just couldn't get it. I almost stopped after 6 miles on the first day because I just thought, I just can't, this is too much. So got it done, finished the first day. There were three of us. Sadly, Nacho couldn't do it. He's had a few health issues, but he's good as gold now. He's bulletproof. Um, but yeah, we'd kind of all made a decision that it wasn't going to happen on day 2. So we didn't make it. We hadn't made a massive fuss about it because I didn't have the headspace, if the truth be told. Liverpool was amazing, but I couldn't do that again. Not about a year or two's planning. So yeah, really proud we did it. It was really hard, 17 hours to get there, to do 40 miles and 10,000 feet. Every type of terrain you can think about, every type of, I mean, you're in the jungle basically, is where it is the long and short of it. And what went up went down again. So three cans of Coke, a couple of Calippos, whatever it took to get round, but it was just about enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've taken stuff from that. I would have definitely felt like I'd let people down before, but this time I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I'm kind of at peace with it. I could have started the next day, but
Yeah.
we chilled out the next day instead and slept and recovered, which is definitely the right thing to do, rather than come back in a not a very good state and you know put everyone through that, which I don't want to do. So yeah, so we tried and not failed, but came back in one piece. Came back in one piece.
Do you know what? And I know we spoke about this before we recorded
Yeah,
this. But,
yeah,
you turned up and you put your
yeah,
shoes on and you went.
yeah,
And
yeah,
most people wouldn't even think about doing an activity or an event like that. So
yeah,
you did an
yeah,
amazing job. I can't even
yeah,
in my head. I'm trying to contemplate. So
yeah.
how much is that, and where is that,
I
and how?
know,
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
not for me. Straight on the road, nice and easy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mark, we are coming to the end of this conversation, but what
Sure.
I genuinely have loved listening to you explain your story. And there's so many stories you could tell as well, right? Because you've done lots of ultra events,
Mm,
you've done lots
mm,
of activities that
mm.
I can't even wrap my head around and comprehend what that looks like and what that means. But sort of now, the now, where we're at now, where you are sort of now, how do you feel about sort of where you're going and what you want to do next, or any reflections, final thoughts?
I think it's taking a breath. I've got to take a breath for a bit. I've got to look after myself. Get back to sort of full whatever it is, whether it's mental capacity or physical capacity. Like I said to you earlier, if I say I'm going to do something, I've got to do it. I've got to commit to it. So I just need to make sure, and that's got to be right now, looking after my family,
Yeah.
putting food on the table, that stuff that I've got to do and want to do, and showing up at my best, really. I've had a couple. It's fun. I don't want to divulge, but I've had a couple of sort of messages recently saying, "Are you okay? How you doing? You don't seem yourself," and that sort of surprised me a bit. Which those guys I'm talking about have raised that to me, which is really interesting. So I guess that's what you put out and what you think you're doing as well to a certain degree, which is really interesting. So yeah, I just need to. I've had a couple of runs the last couple of weekends with some mates and just had no pressure.
Okay.
Just gone out, just chatted. Relatively slow in the running through puddles and
Right.
mud and stuff, and that feels great. So let's enjoy. Get to Christmas, have a break, and then think about what the future holds. But yeah, the last few years have been a big learning curve for me, and it's not always it's sunshine and rainbows, is it? Life's not like that, unfortunately. So
You know
yeah,
what?
just working it out.
Yeah, and I think that's an honest assessment, and I think that's sometimes the challenge, isn't it? We're just not honest with ourselves, and yet we're putting out there all the things that we're showing people we do and get involved with,
Yeah.
and honestly, then sometimes inside there's that sort of that reality of it's slightly different to what you're portraying on the outside.
Mm, mm,
All from my perspective, I think you're doing the right thing. I think slow it
mm.
down and regroup, and there's a
Yeah.
good thing about that. Have the support around that. Focus and prioritize on you and your
Mm,
closest, and
mm.
that's key. Was there any? So I always like this sort of the end of this conversation. That is there any like motivational quotes or thoughts that drive you, or anything you want to share as a final thought, Mark?
I think killing with kindness is good.
Kill them with kindness. Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's not too much. There's not too much wrong with that. The big one for us is you'll never run alone.
Yeah.
That's why I went to Liverpool. That was our thing, and yeah, I really stand by that. That's no one gets left behind. Is really important. So I got my first tattoo with that on it, and I didn't think I'd be doing that at 50 odd as well. So yeah, that would be the one for us. You'll never run alone. Absolutely.
Brilliant. I love that. And that is a wonderful way to sort of finish this conversation today. You'll never run alone. Yeah, maybe some of the runs that you do, not everybody wants to run with you on, but you're absolutely right. And kill them with kindness. And I think they're so valuable now. Thank you, Mark. It's been incredible listening to you talking about your experience and your journey. So really appreciate it. And yeah, I look forward to continuing to watch that journey as it goes through the next years and so on. So good luck
Thank
to
you,
you.
Matt. You're a gentleman. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. No worries. Well, look after yourself and love to you and your family. And
Thank you very much.
take care, buddy.
See you later.